beautiful beings. Thank you for joining me for another timeless tarot reading. I'm going to start with clearing the energy with my bell. I call upon my guides, my angels, my ancestors, and galactic family of the highest love and light to channel through me the messages that they need to hear at the time that this reaches them. I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. I love you, I love you, I love you. All right. Let's see what we got in store today. That was a lot all at once. I'm going to reshuffle because that came out a little too fast. So let's see. Is there any messages? Alright, let's start with the moon. We are coming up on the full moon. So that's something that might be coming through. You might feel a strong connection to the moon's energy with the cycles, with the push and pull. And it's saying at the bottom, my intuition guides me to the right decision. So if you're approaching a decision you need to make, this could be guiding you to really tap into what your gut is saying, what your heart is telling you, what your guides are telling you. However makes you feel in touch with your inner voice, your higher self, or your guides. Just maybe making some time for that. To maybe quiet and listen or be in nature, however you really connect with yourself. And there is this spiraling yin-yang energy that's really pulling, like this push and pull. Maybe you're feeling a little push and pulled in certain directions, and it's about you really navigating those waters, using your intuition, using your connection with spirit and yourself to find the right direction for you. And there could be some crystal work, some working with crystals, or connection with crystals coming through, the way that they're wrapped around crystals. And I'm seeing, like, as the moon's charging the crystals, I like to charge my crystals under moonlight, so maybe some of you like to charge your crystals with sun or moon or however you do. But the moon energy can really connect with your crystals and really imbue it with a lot of light and wisdom. And the crystal of this card is Rainbow Moonstone, so it might have some assistance for you at this time. But it's like you're being pulled in a direction, and I see this path of stones, and it's going to this infinity symbol. There's infinite possibilities, and it's up to you to find the right path that's highest aligned for you, and really trust what your instincts, what your gut, what your intuition is telling you, what direction is part of your highest alignment. So it's a beautiful card to start off with. I feel a lot of possibility and maybe a little bit of surrender is coming through. The word surrender, surrendering to spirit, to trust that you're going to be guided on your path and the path will open up for you. It's like I'm seeing the stones rising up out of the water. So it's like the stones will rise to meet you when the time is right, potentially. Okay, let's do these. Same, that's all for the tarot. So let's start with the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles energy is coming with stability. It's like she's very grounded, very stable, and the way that she's sitting on these boulders, it's almost like a throne type of energy. And I'm feeling so much grounding energy, like feeling tapped into Mother Nature, feeling rooted in, feeling stable. And that stability can manifest in different forms for each of you. You could be feeling emotionally stable, or financially stable, or peace, or stable in the direction you're heading. And there's this wielding of the hammer, this forging type of energy where maybe you've done a lot of work forging yourself in order to start receiving the path, receiving the intuition, receiving messages, or the financial security, or the peace that you have been seeking, is something that through your cultivation, through this dedication, this hard work, it's like you deserve this success. You deserve this open door, this pathway. It's like almost like a portal energy coming through of trusting and surrendering that the door will open and the pathway will unfold itself in this divine timing. And it's able to do that because of how much work that you've put into potentially your self-growth, growth with your soul, with your emotions, with your spirit, or with your business, or with your finances. But there is going to be this high level of achievement coming through. Mastering skills, mastering situations, and the way that you've denoted your time and your energy into maybe honing a skill or honing your spiritual gifts, that dedication is going to have this payoff, this unraveling of a path to this highest alignment is what's coming through. And there could be, maybe if you're doing an apprenticeship, the apprenticeship is coming to an end soon. And maybe you're feeling uncertainty. But if you trust your guides and your intuition, there will be a new path opening up that's coming forward very strongly. And there could be some completion of an exam or qualifications. It's just like this high quality, like it's like holding yourself to a high standard, or holding the quality of your work to a high standard. And you've really put in the work to your growth and achieved so much, and there will be this payoff, and there's this beautiful moon. It's like it's drawing us towards this new beginning, this almost like a portal you're going to be going through. Then the other card that came out was the King of Pentacles. So there's a lot of stability and success coming through. You're meant to be sitting in this throne. You're meant to have abundance growing all around you. It's just like it's growing and growing and growing, and you might not see the growth yet. His eyes are focused forward, and there's all this abundance growing around him. And if he really stopped and looked around, he would recognize all of that. And it could be at different stages of growth for each of you, depending on where you're at in your own journey. Because the growth can be financial, or it can be spiritual, or it can be peace, or friendship, or an abundance has so many different forms that can take place. But he is holding this golden pentacle coin. I feel like the material success or wealth you will be holding in the future. If you're not holding it now and it's still growing, it's meant to be held by you. It's meant to be held and owned by you. And there is this guide energy, like a spirit that's watching over you. Could be a loved one, could be a guide, could be an animal companion. But someone is happy for you, and they're on your shoulder, potentially whispering encouragement. And you may or may not hear it, but they're still there encouraging you and excited for you for when you put on the crown, and it's like she's wearing a crown as well, this mask with like this horned crown. But it's like you have to claim the crown for yourself. You have to put on your crown. It's not like someone's going to put it on you. It's like you need to put it on yourself, is something they're saying. It's like you're taking ownership and power and control. And it's like, that you have this rightful place of stability, of abundance, and you're meant to wear this crown, and you just have to put it on. Put on the crown and know what you're worth and know what you're deserving of, and know that your time and your thoughts and your energy and your business or your creative pursuits or your perspective are important and crown worthy and worthy of receiving this abundance. And there's a lot of this high achievement energy across the 8th and the King of Pentacles. It's like you're sure of your place in this world. You're sure of what you deserve. And it's not a time for you to settle for less. It's a time for you to claim what is rightfully yours, So if there's job offers, maybe push them a little bit and ask for a pay that's worth deserving for. Maybe asking for a raise, or maybe it's not undervaluing your work or your labor, because you are worthy of being recognized and compensated for the gifts that you are sharing with the world, whether that's creative gifts or intellectual gifts, or labor gifts, however it comes forward for you. And there's this achievement of financial goals on the way. It comes from forging these skills. It's coming from the effort you've put into growing yourself or your business or your craft. And then the path will start unfolding to this infinite abundance. And it's up to you to claim that rightful place. And there's this control and this care about how you're managing your energy, your money, your time. It's like you are being really careful about where you're putting all of those things and making sure that where you're putting it, it's going to be very valuable, or they're valuing you back for what you're sharing and what you're giving. And there could be a time to there's just this step up energy is coming through, like the stepping up of the stones, and it's like stepping into your rightful place, and sometimes we have to claim that. Sometimes we have to step into that role, and sometimes once we start presenting that we are worthy, or really feeling like we're worthy and deserving of what we are, which is the best. You're worthy and deserving of the best, of being valued for what you bring to the table, whatever that is and wherever that may be in different areas of your life. And you're worthy of receiving and claiming that for yourself, claiming that you are worthy and you are ready to receive. You're ready to hold the abundance. Potentially it could come with more responsibility, and you could have been preparing for that, as you're forging yourself and your skills, and you could be forging multiple things at the same time. It's like Spirit is trying to prepare you for what's next and what's to come, so you can handle the big things that are on the horizon. All right. Wonderful, beautiful animals. It's like there's a lot of animals that want to come out today. Can we have a clear? Okay. Let's do these. Ooh, we have the elephant. The elephant's pretty new. You will overcome any obstacles. So resolve. This could be about how you have overcome many obstacles throughout your life. And it could also pertain to potential future obstacles that you are able to overcome and maybe jump over. But the resolve is really sticking out to me. Maybe you've resolved internal issues within your emotional body or your inner child, or resolved issues with other people in your life, or resolved problems within your creative pursuits or a business, or even your career. But I'm also getting resolve as in a state of being. Like you resolved issues, so now you're at this place of strength, of peace, and of strength. And certainty of like knowing who you are, knowing what you're made of. And like an elephant has this beautiful energy of being peaceful and calm and like a gentle, strong giant. But if they are provoked, then they can charge. But it's like this general energy of feeling stable, feeling grounded, and feeling strong, and maybe even a little majestic. Maybe even a little royal in a sense. Like, you're meant for greater things in your life, greater experiences, community, or abundance in whatever way that means for you. But it's like you're holding this stable, strong energy and knowing who you are and walking in that and not really shying away from it either. And maybe also, all these cards could have other symbology and other messages for you specifically. So I always encourage you to tune in and see if there's any other messages that jump out for you or synchronicities beyond what I'm saying when you look at these cards. And then we have boundaries, stand your ground. So if someone is trying to walk over your boundaries, the bear is great at really encouraging you to stick with your boundaries. Don't let someone cross over your boundaries. Don't let someone smooth things over and act like it's okay to disrespect you in certain ways. And it's okay to walk away from people or places or situations that have disrespected your boundaries. You don't owe them anything when they disrespect you and hurt you. You're not owed to be nice. There's only so many times you can turn the other cheek. And I think that has gotten very misconstrued over time of, just turn the other cheek. But if you're constantly turning the other cheek at the expense of yourself and constantly letting other people or situations walk all over you and beat you down because they know that they can get away with it because you're going to take the quote-unquote higher road. But sometimes that just slowly degrades us over time. And we need to step into our bear. Sometimes we need to roar. Sometimes we need to walk away. Sometimes we need to stand firm in our boundaries and what we're willing to accept and not accept. So maybe you've experienced some obstacles or situations where you've needed to stand your ground. And that could really manifest differently for each of you. It could be standing your ground in business or yourself or relationships, or just the way that you experience or interact with the world. But the key element is these are two very strong, powerful animals coming through for you that are aiding you at this time. They're very large in spirit and energy and of strength. So they're really trying to encourage you to, walk your path proudly. Don't compromise your own boundaries or your worth or what's really important for you. And don't compromise that for potential things that may or may not work out. It's like maybe there's a clear path to abundance, but it's going to cause a lack of boundaries. And that's not necessarily what's the highest aligned path for you. And you might not see the abundance on the other path yet, but it's something that's meant to grow and to blossom and not necessarily be instantaneous. Because long wealth and growth takes really time to mature, to grow, and to come into being in a very rooted form. Let's see. Is there a horse that wants to come through with a message for this fire horse energy? Ooh, we have Pedro. It's a cute little donkey. It says, do everything with joy. I love to see you happy. We also have another full moon peeking through. There's a full moon that's peeking through. So there's something with full moon energy. So you might do rituals on the full moon or a full moon meditation, or there might be doors opening around the full moon, or kind of like this portal energy of ascending into another level or tapping into other levels of your being. And there's all these like flowers and bluebells and grasses and vines wrapping around. There's a lot of greenery, there's a lot of growth. And we want the greenery to grow around you when you're happy. Because sometimes your happiness and your joy and your gratitude and just being happy with your everyday life, even if it's not perfect, like finding the joy in the little things throughout your day, can help other things come in and grow for you around you, to reflect the joy that you're radiating and the gratitude. And I love to see you happy. It's coming through as kind of like this guide energy, this spirit guide or animal guide, or there's this energy of something on the other side watching you, encouraging you, and they want you to be happy. They want you to find joy. They want you to be happy. And maybe you've gone through a lot of grief or heartache, and they want you to find your joy. They want you to smile. They want you to be happy. You can't smile every day, but when I say that, I mean find things that genuinely make you want to. If it's a funny movie that makes you smile, or a close relationship with a friend, or doing art that makes you happy, it's like finding your joy, finding what lights you up and sparks you. Because Spirit wants to see you happy. Spirit doesn't want you to stay in a cycle of suffering in any sort of way. It's like up to us to break through that and to claim what's truly meant for us. But they want us to experience joy. They want us to experience abundance and peace and love, and watch all these different things blossom around you as you're tapping into your daily joy. There's a lot of growth coming through. And maybe this full moon is going to be some sort of turning point for you. in some way, a turning point in your journey with yourself or with more physical things in your reality. All right, let's see. Is there anything else that wants to come through in this oracle? Feeling like this one. Interesting. So we have the rancher, and it says, I will nurture others and watch them grow. So maybe some of you are bringing forth a new life into this world. This could be a very literal meaning of pregnancy, of bringing forth life, of wanting to be a parent and watching them grow and being a part of that growth and the joy that comes from that. But this could also be symbolizing something else you're watching grow. It could be a business, it could be a creative project, could be a following, could be maybe animals at a sanctuary that you have, could be plants, it could be your garden. But there's this nurture and this growth. And the others, it could be people. Like maybe you work with people, maybe you're a nurse, or maybe you're a caretaker, or maybe you're a teacher. But there could be this sort of element of nurturing and growing projects as well, like a creative idea, a project, or a project that you're on, like a business project you're on, you know, and watching it really take off in a beautiful direction. And also I'm feeling like just this piece of being at peace with watching it grow, watching things grow and unfold and come towards you. You know, we have to claim what's meant for us. We need to hold our boundaries, but we also need to be able to enjoy watching things grow around us. I love watching all the plants grow in my gardens, you know, and I love nurturing them that way. And sometimes when you're growing vegetables, you know, at the end, you're going to get all this beautiful produce. So I feel like there's something here for watching and waiting these things to develop. It's like, again, seeing these stones rise up out of the water. It's like, as you're nurturing maybe your skills or your talent, you know, it's going to be so unique for all of you. This path will start unfolding as you're growing and growing the things that you're putting your time and your energy into. And there's this otherworldly energy, the saucer coming through, and this stability I'm feeling with the mountains. Feeling stable as you're watching things grow and having this trust and this knowing that when you tap into your intuition, when you claim your place, like Spirit wants to rise to meet you. When you nurture your joy and your self-care and all those things, Spirit wants to reward you for that, for putting the time and effort into yourself, for putting the time in to listen to your intuition and to watch what you've been putting so much thought or energy into growing around you and potentially growing all the way into this success and stability. And I'm drawn to the gun of like, you don't want anybody to mess with your baby. And that could be a real baby, or it could be a baby as in a project you're working on. A creative project, a book, a song, poetry. Could be, you know, a business plan. It could be, you know, a creative scientific project. But it's like you're nurturing something that you're also protecting. There's this protective energy over it where like you don't want it to be stolen. You don't want it to be degraded in any way. And as you're watching it grow, you're also just protecting your own, protecting what you've been cultivating for yourself, right? It's like almost like this, protecting the wheat, protecting your harvest, protecting this harvest that's going to be growing and coming through for you. is important. All right, let's see if some of these Lemuria cards want to come through. They like to be spread out. Okay. Okay, so let's put this back and see what this Lemuria has in store today. You also could be, if you're a light worker, you could be helping protect the frequencies of the new earth and what's coming through there. If you're a spiritual light worker that's coming through. It's like you're growing the frequency of earth, raising the frequency of earth, protecting the frequency of earth. If you're a light worker or a light angel or a light warrior, that's an element that's coming through. And if it's along the path of being a light worker for earth, it's like we're not going to let these obstacles or shadow groups win. Because ultimately we have more than just other light workers on our side. The animal kingdom's on our side, the plant kingdom's on our side, the stone kingdom's on our side, elementals and fae, like we all want earth to ascend. And the dragons, So we have vulnerability. And this is going to be very unique to each of you. Maybe some of you have had struggle with being vulnerable in the past, and now you're starting to open up and be more comfortable with your vulnerability. But I'm also getting sometimes your vulnerability can be your greatest strength or unlock a greater growth. It's like all these ripples in the water, right? It's like when you open up and you be a little bit of more vulnerable with yourself or with others. You can be vulnerable opening up to your inner child or higher self or your guides, or it could be with other people in the physical. It allows you to grow, and when you open up, it can help others see it's okay to open up, it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to share some deeper things with yourself or with others or with your guides. And the ripples and the impacts that can make are not going to be directly seen, but they can be felt throughout your body or throughout your relationships, and that frequency can shift also just the general earth frequencies coming through. When you're able to really release fear, release worry about potentially how others will perceive you, even yourself, when you're tapping into vulnerable parts of yourself and receiving this compassion. And there's so much blossoming of these beautiful lilies and this dragonfly energy. Dragonflies can represent a lot of transformation. They go from a larval stage that lives completely underwater all the way to a being that has wings and flies instead of swims. So there could be this beautiful transformation energy, as well as like snakes have a very similar energy of shedding their skin, of constantly renewing themselves. It's like you may have shed many layers to get where you are now and be in this continuously shedding process. We're always going to be growing. We're always going to be a new person. Like every year, there's so much we gain and we learn. And it's embracing that, embracing who we are now and the versions that we have been in the past, and honoring all of it, the good, the bad, all of it, because it's brought us to where we are today. There's more crystal energies. You might have a connection to crystals, or will feel called to work with crystals, or crystals might want to be working with you because you have a beautiful energy, and they might be able to amplify that. And maybe your vulnerability has to do with being seen. Maybe you're meant to be seen. Maybe you're meant to be heard. And that's part of your path of this abundance energy. And that goes right along with the other card that I pulled, which is shine your light. And it takes a bit of vulnerability to shine your light, to share your wisdom, to share your knowledge, to share your spiritual gifts, and even just share your presence with the world, your laugh, your smile, your energy, even just normal day, like when you're shopping or going to a coffee shop, just shining your light, shining yourself, and just being authentically you and not caring about anything else. That can shift a room, that can shift the frequencies around you when you're really tapped into yourself and your strength and your light. Because look at how much light you emit. Think about all the waves that sends throughout Earth. Like, we need your light, we need your frequency, we need your energy here on Earth. And being on Earth is not easy, and that's why we're here, to experience it all and to grow from that, and to not let it dim our light, and to find our way back to our light, and then to share that with ourselves and with others. And you might have this water connection, because there's water here and water here and water here. You might have a strong connection to the water, whether it's swimming or mermaids or baths or tea. Consuming water or being in water might be a very empowering feeling. It might feel like recharging or energizing when you spend time with water or listening to water. But we need your light, and we know it's going to be vulnerable to share that, but I would love to see it, to hear it. You're not meant to just hide in the shadows. If you've been through a hermit mode, you're meant to shine your light, to be seen, to be heard, and to really just exist in your joy, and to chase your joy and your happiness. And maybe your happiness comes from this skill or this craft you've been honing for so long. Could be spiritual gifts. Let's see, is there one more card that wants to come through? Okay. Ooh. This is an awesome one. We got Blue Avian. Philosophy, releasing karma, and mysticism. So blue avians are one of the highest dimensional galactic members. They're very, very, very high vibration, close to the angels, actually. So you might have some sort of connection with the blue avians, and you might have a connection with Archangel Michael, because he's also can be associated as having a connection with him as well, with his blue light. So there could be this beautiful higher vibrational energy for you. And now it's also bringing me back to this bird, right? This bird on his shoulder. You might have a blue avian guide. You might have a connection to the blue avians, or they might just want to, assist you a little bit. And I feel like you have done a lot of releasing, like the snake, like the dragon, like you've released layers. You've really changed and grown and grown to a point where it's almost time for you to like take up this throne, to claim for your rightful place, to be recognized for your skills or your voice or your wisdom. And I see all these portals, you know. You might have the ability to travel to other dimensions. You might be able to access and unlock different portals of growth, you know, like transformational portals that you walk through and you come out very different than when you came in. And I'm getting this guiding energy, and there's more water, a lot of water. So I wonder if that you have a connection to that. I'm going to tap into the Oracle book to see if there's any more deeper meaning that the blue avians might be having with you right now. So let's see. The blue avians are a mammalian humanoid ET with bird-like features. Their origins are unclear. Encounter reports claim they are from another multiverse, though originated from our local star clusters. The blue avians have some semblance of offshoot of Lyrian genetic lineage known as bird people. The blue avians are 6th to 9th density and dimension. Tall with slender body frames, they're covered in soft bluish and indigo feather down. They have a cool, calm, and diplomatic nature, with a profound and intelligent understanding of ontological, philosophical, and metaphysical phenomenon. They were well versed in the law of one material, and related to the Egyptian sun god Ra, who was a bird. They're remarkable at time-traveling explorers, and they use these spherical orbs as teleportation technology. The blue avian ETs have been referenced in many ancient mythological documentation, from Mayan to Egyptian to Hindu to Babylonian literature and artifacts. The blue avian archetype coincides with what history labels angels and are known as the ancient builder race and architects of this quadrant of the universe. The blue avian's missions is largely to protect all of life and to assist in the development of human ascension. So yeah, I mean, if you're a part of this lightworker community, the blue avians could be assisting you with inner work, with tapping into esoteric knowledge, to releasing karma, to ascension, self-discovery. There's this scholarly energy coming forward of like studying maybe ancient philosophies or this studying different mysticisms and this education, but there could be science that they're assisting with as well. You know, they're very well versed in all these different knowledgeable sources, you know, all the way from mathematics to philosophy to science to esoteric to mysticism to magic, right? Because they recognize that they're all interconnected. And it doesn't seem like it, but you know, art is connected to science. The original scientists way back in the day, you know, they would draw all the different species of plants and draw all the different animals. And if you weren't well versed in your ability to be creative and draw, and if you weren't as adept at drawing, maybe you had a very descriptive word sense, right? So this interconnectedness with like literature and science and math, because the way that we describe it and the way that we relate it to the world, there could be an element of literature, of creativity, of artistry, and also mysticism, also, you know, part of quantum, being connected to everything. This mysticism, this higher intelligence of knowing that, you know, everything's connected and everything may communicate differently, but everything has this soul, this wisdom to be shared across species, across planets even. And maybe you could be tapping into past life energy as well. They could be helping you integrate gifts and integrate knowledge that's meant to be shared and shined and grown, you know? And I just want to leave it there. They're not really pushing anything further to come through. So I really hope some of this resonated with you. And if it did, I'd love to hear if it did in the comments. And I love you so much. And thank you for sharing your light in the world. It's so needed. And I'm so grateful you're here. Thank you.